I'm thinking to start laying track backwards. This is the end of the lower level. There's the bypass, here's the helix. One would think you would go from the yard, because that's where you enter, and then go around. But I gotta figure out this pinwheel ladder here. I want to rearrange it a bit. And the original ladder uses micro-engineering turnouts, and I think I can save some space and make those tracks longer by using Pico, curved ones. So I want to design a newer version, just this part here. And so I figured if I start laying track from here, while the yard's waiting to be figured out, might as well put some cork down. So I got my laser shining there, and you can see how janky my lines are compared to what the laser points to. Wow, they're just for reference anyways. I just need to get that straight because that's the main line, and then everything from there is based on the track spacing from the main line. And the shelf here is 18 inches wide. I'm gonna use a normal HO cork for all of my main line, and then I'm gonna use N-scale cork for the sidings and industries and whatnot. So you know how you get that kind of lower siding of PL, or not appearance, right? So that's gonna look cool. And just need to get that going, and I think it should go fast because I'm just gonna put the cork down along the laser line. I'm not gonna even bother drawing any lines because I don't need to, and I'm just gonna use wood glue and put some weights or something down, and it should be done in 15 minutes. I mean, glue dries fast. Wood glue corks wood. So let's just keep going with this and see how far we can get. And there you have it. First cork has been laid down, minus this end scale part. That's the bypass that goes into the helix. But there it is. I need to figure out the angles here and stuff. I mean, I already have it drawn. But this is exciting because seeing the cork down means tracks comes next. And it's been a long time since I've done this. Aside from the staging, I mean, running trains in the staging is not fun. So we'll see how fast I can lay the main line down, and then maybe I'll have some trains running across the main line. And that was the idea I think I mentioned before as well. If I can just lay the main line all the way around in the yard, then I can have the trains running in loops, and then I can do the sidings and everything else, and obviously feeders and motors, switch motors and stuff. But everything needs to do time. It's just these first parts are always exciting because you know where it leads to, right? And well, anyways, I'll leave it here, and then I'll keep working on more and see what else I can get done, and then I'll keep you updated. Quick video about I guess learning on the job or changing your mind on the job. Anyway, I guess in haste I laid the cork here because it was fast and easy, and I used the wrong glue. Now I used wood glue, and I suppose people would use wood glue, but I remembered a week later that I bought a different glue that I wanted to use specifically for cork and ballasting, and it's this weld bond. Now, I don't know, I've never used weld bond before, but somebody wrote it's a cat's meow for doing these things because it doesn't dry, hard or whatnot, and they've used it in ballast as well, diluted, so I'm going to try that. So right now I'm pulling the cork back up, and I suppose the lesson for this is don't be afraid to make changes and make them right away, and then you won't regret them later on, because once you put all the cork everywhere, I mean, too late for that. That's like whole sheets of cork, and I used wood glue, but whatever. I mean, that's the yard. It's most likely that trains will not be rushing to the yard anyways. But here, I mean, you might notice again, it depends whether you like it to be loud or not. I'm kind of on the quieter side, so the thinking was that the wood glue dries hard, it's gonna be really loud. And so, yeah, Gotta pull the cork back up and then relay it with the other glue, and then hopefully then I'll use that glue going forward for everything else. Well, let's call this segment of the video What the Duck. And I'm sure that this site is familiar by now, because somehow I just can't get away from Benchwork. It's never over. It's just never over. I don't know. Aside from the upper level that's not done. I thought, okay, I'm gonna lay cork, so I put cork on the main line here and there. And then I was looking here at Lockport, and I thought, well, where do I put the main line? Because the spacing of tracks determines where or which ones, which pier cranes do I get. And there's only so many on the market you can get unless you build your own, but I don't have time to do that. So I thought I would use those Kibri ones, the 38510 or whatever. But now I didn't want to order them from Europe, and ordering from US on eBay is extortion. So I'm gonna use Volter's pier cranes. Now, here are the platforms for the pier cranes. And that determines where the track goes, because you just can't just put the track wherever you want to. But it's not over there. It's not over yet, because yeah, that determines where the track goes for that siding or the spur. But over here, oh, you can't see it. This ladder here, that's all messed up now. Well, that needs to fall in place. That's the main. This is the main line here. All of this needs to line up. Everything has to line up. If any of these pieces is out of order or out of alignment, then the whole thing falls apart. Because this is the main, and then there is a spacing here between the main and the siding or spur for the industries. But then there is the actual siding. There is one line for the dock, which is this. But that's gonna go further this way, and then this is another one. But now with this line here, it needs to clear this part here. So and it needs to connect over there, and then there is another turnout there that it spurs into dock number 3. Oh yeah, and that's not cut, and that's gonna be fun to do because it's funny shape. So aside from all that, I didn't know how deep do I need to go in the port for the water. And that determines, well, the benchwork that I need to cut and how I'm going to mount it. So I've looked at some of the Kibri barges, what is it, 38522 and 38524. And they're about an inch and 1/16 or 1/8 high, 30 centimeters. If I stick a piece of 3/4 plywood as a surface of the wood, the surface of the water, and then I have another 1/2 inch gap, I get about 30 centimeters, because I have a 3/4 here thickness. So fine, I went out and I'm gonna cut all the wood. I was blessed today. It was 6 degrees and it was drying, snow melted, it was perfect. It's gonna be all crappy next week and snowing and raining and -3 or whatever, -5. So I said, well, I'm blessed to do that. Oh, but nothing is ever a blessing all the way. It's just halfway or quarter. And so I started cutting all this, and then I realized that I didn't cut this piece properly, so I ruined a good board that I had, because somehow I ended up cutting it too short over there and over there, because I went with a 1/4 inch border inside where I'm going to actually screw it into the benchwork. So I had to recut that. But then here, this benchwork needs to be cut down by 1 inch, and here. And then here is that piece that goes like this, and then like that, and then curves there. Well, there's the board for it. I barely found one that was long enough, because I realized it needs to come all the way up to here, because you want to make a nice curving angle into the dock 3. And I don't know how I'm gonna mount all that. I mean, hopefully it can anchor like here and there and here, and then we'll see. I mean, yeah, and I think I'm going to have to cut some things in place here, or maybe inside, someplace in the garage. I don't know. But yeah, benchwork somehow never ends. So these pieces are still not fit. I need to fit them. And lastly, there is the issue of, if you recall, I've extended the benchwork 2 inches from the back, pushing this forward. And if I didn't do that, none of this would fit, because it would have been 2 inches too short. This would have been like somewhere closer to the backdrop, and then the backdrop industries wouldn't have any room to fit. And, you know, okay. Lastly, because we extended the benchwork 2 inches this way, that makes the aisle 2 inches shorter. Now it ends up being 30 something, maybe 31, 30, I don't know. Let me see if I can get this with one hand. Sorry about the fingers. Okay. So survey says, 31. Well, 30 and 3/4, and then 1/8 for a fascia, so 30 and a half. Well, that's all it's gonna be. Now I've built into this an option to make it shallower, but if I make it shallower here, and this needs to be pushed in and shortened, then I can't put barges here. It's just gonna be a piece of water that's 2 inches wide. But I won't be able to put any barges there, only here and in dock number 3. So for now I'm keeping it this way, and then I'm gonna move around here and see how I feel about the benchwork depth. I'll go the other side just a second. So this piece kind of comes in and tapers into that, so not gonna affect, it's not gonna affect the peninsula space here. So what happens when you look here, the fascia will go that way, and then it kind of expands into a bigger area at the end of the aisle. And usually you do that to have room for people to move around and turn around, right? Pass each other. You make the benchwork shallower at the ends of your aisles. But we'll see about this here. Okay, I've bored you enough with this nonsense of benchwork for 8 minutes, so we'll see, you know, how far I get with other things. A short clip in my never-ending saga of benchwork that never ends. I'm working on the Lockport piers, or the dock area, and adding the river or sea base, and I'm adding the spacers now that are 1/2 inch plywood before I put the actual surface of the water. But this is just this one is for Otter Creek Railroad. I'm slowly building up to the amount of clamps that he had. I have still a few in my box over there, but I don't have them all out yet, so I think I might have to actually make a trip to a woodworking store or something to get more clamps. Anyways, I'll add more videos as I go along with this, so stay tuned for more. I'll share a sad realization after seeing this done. And that is that this is only half the benchwork. Because there's still the upper deck. The upper deck needs to be done as well. Not now, but eventually. And this part here was a lot of effort to drop this shelf thing down and then secure it as well, and you can see how it's done underneath there. And I had these plates that I had to go around, and then I had to add 1/2 inch plywood spacing between this surface and the main shelf to get 35 millimeters or something depth. But I mean, it turned out just like the plan. I'll show you. There's the plan. And there is the real thing. I made this area here a bit wider than the plan. Robert had an idea to put the stairs down to the water level, because sometimes you might have a boat or something that comes close, and then this would be an area for a dock supervisor or something like that. They would have their own house there or something. This pier 3 was just painful because these curves had to be cut to match, and then the fascia is gonna follow that. But yeah, I guess it's done now. So hopefully I can now start putting track down, because I have everything. I mean, I have the measurements, and these surfaces I've only screwed, I didn't glue them, just in case if I change my mind and decide to shorten the water level or water size and make it narrower, not as deep, just to make the aisles wider. But this looks fine. I mean, it's 30 3/4 there, and on the other side it actually extends to 33. So if you can see here, the benchwork actually extends and then makes the alcove slightly larger, or the full width of the benchwork or available benchwork that was planned, 33 inches. Because usually you have, as I said, I think I mentioned that in previous videos, but you want to have a place for people to turn around here and pass each other if they can't pass anywhere else. So I guess I'm going to do something, track next, eventually, soon, very soon, because I think there's nothing else. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.